M1 gives you a lot of different things, like, anything from health to financial to mindset to, knowledge and all that. For me, was financial. So I really only reached out to the people that been walking the walk, because I'm a firm believer, learn from the one who's been there, done that. Never ask a broke friend how to make $1 million. So I reached out to quite a few people, and I also met a lot of them here in Michigan. Believe it or not, I'm from Pinckney, Michigan, which is the smallest little thing. You'll never find it on the map.
Welcome to a special edition. These are my favorite, actually, of the Rock Your Money, Rock Your Life podcast, because I get to see the journey of somebody come in and where they needed a little bit of sprinkling of wisdom and where they were able to, accelerate that in the 4 areas. And if you guys don't know what those 4 areas are, let me remind you. Number 1 is, in order to become financially free, you can't mess up how much you make. You can't mess up how much you spend. You can't mess up how you manage it, and you can't mess up how you invest it. So usually people mess up one of those big time, and Gogo was really good at messing up how she spent money. In fact, she didn't mess it up. She was so good at it that she spent more than was coming in, essentially, and she was really good at number 1. Most people struggle with number 1, but she crushed number 1, but she wasn't paying attention to number 2. Welcome to the call, Gogo.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's my absolute pleasure.
So why don't you tell them a little bit how we met, just to give them some context.
That's a funny story. Well, we have a similar background. I had a rough childhood like you did, and I watched your Goalcast video. And by watching it, I watched it like 100,000 times because it resonated with me. The first couple of times I watched it, I literally cried so hard I couldn't tell my snot from my saliva, like literally hit me right at the heart. And then I went to a business master with Tony Robbins. I was going up for my seat and you were coming out of the crowd, and my brain thought, I know you. I guess I did. After you watch someone 100,000 times on YouTube, you know them. And I was like, oh my gosh, hey, Rock. And I was like, I know you.
Typical Gogo style. Jump right in there.
As soon as I said that, my brain was like, no, you don't know him. You know him from YouTube. But then you sat and you were that Gogo chick. And I was like, holy shit. Excuse my French. I don't know if I can say that, but that's pretty much how it started. And I asked you for your time, if you would give me, I know that you're so busy at Tony Robbins, you're one of the coaches, and they kindly asked you if you could give me a little special time, if you could go outside and really get to know you and ask you some questions of like, how did you get over that childhood? And we became, I would say, friends. I can call you now anytime, call me anytime. If there's any way I can help. And that was it. And then I asked you to join my podcast, which you were so kind and you did. And after that podcast, you asked me if, you actually didn't ask me, you told me I need to join M1. And I was like, what's M1? So that's how that started.
So let me break that down for people a little bit. First of all, Gogo is not your birth name, but it does represent your energy level. And so my birth name is not Rock, but it represents, my energy level. And so our energies collided at that event, and both of our energy levels were very, very happy, because there's not a lot of people that resonate at that level and can connect and can appreciate it, right? And then the second thing I want to say is that you asked me if I would spend some time, and I said yes, because that's what winners do. They say yes and they figure it out. They make the time for things that are important, and they're attracted to energy. So if you're listening to this, if you want to meet a mentor, somebody that's going to raise you up, arrive with a lot of energy, and then be courageous to ask the question like Gogo is. And that's why she's so successful at what she does, is she's bold and she goes for it. And then we connected, and then I asked her, or maybe even told her, I said, this is, I think, where you need to be. I can see an opportunity for you to grow. And then so you joined our mastermind group, and we quickly learned that you were making, more money than most people make in 5 years. You were making in a year. You were doing very well in your business, but you were running around, you were a little hectic, your quality of life was good, but not great. And you realized that you were thousands and tens of thousands, almost $100,000 in debt. Tell them a little bit about what happened then.
Well, as you said, I always say there's 3 phases of money. There's making it, saving it, and growing it. and I was really good at making it, but I was too busy making it to pay attention of, where's it coming from, and especially where's it going. I always felt like we have money coming in, but do I care where it's going? I also never really had money. I didn't like tracking yet. I guess I didn't like knowing that I'm not perfect. I didn't want I know I'm not freaking perfect. I just didn't like to know that even.
I got you.
And so for me, it started with pointing out the obvious. Looking at that year when I joined, we made over $500,000. This was 3 years ago. And we had $89,000 in credit card debt. So I'm like, how on earth do you manage to spend $600,000 in a year and not know where it went?
Yeah. So if you don't tell your money where to go, you won't know where it went. And you can be really good at making money. But if you're not conscious of what you're spending, then you end up being, what I call a rich poor person. Mm-hmm. And so the difference between successful people monetarily and struggling people is that they earn money not to spend it. That's what we're taught, right? But they earn money to invest it. And in order to get to that place, you've got to learn how to manage it. And so you came into our system. We have a management system. We have a consciousness system around the 4 money personality types. We shined a light on that and you went, oh my God, what if I direct some energy over here? That would be really cool. And then you did that. And in a very short period of time.
Yeah, when I direct energy, I'll do 1,000%.
Right. And so you evaporated that debt in 6 months or something like that?
I think we were done in 3 months, I think.
Yeah. And then you went on and a lot of great things started to happen in your business world. And you got involved in Airbnb and you bought some properties, et cetera. And you raced past the $1 million mark. And now, I say to people, the first million's the hardest. The second million is inevitable because you've developed the habits and the rituals in order to accomplish it and create it. Plus, you bust through that upper limit problem that they talk about in The Big Leap, in which, you're just not used to being conscious of your money. And now you've got these systems. So you make it, it goes here, it goes there. And you and I were talking offline. Now you have a different quality problem is you got to start looking at what's the opportunities around taxes. And so you graduate through wealth into, you were on the first floor, second floor, third floor. Now you're on the 10th floor and you're like, oh, they talk about taxes on the 11th floor. I got to get up to that floor in a hurry now, get a little bit more wisdom in that area, the same way you need to get wisdom for managing your money. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I heard someone say different levels, different devils.
Yes.
And it's so true. I mean, you never had the problem. I remember calling, Ellen, and I said, okay, now what? I have this money, what do I do? And I never had that problem before. Now, yesterday I talked to my CPA, and when he told me what he's estimating, then I have to pay quarterly. I was like, what do I need to do not to have to pay that?
Right.
He goes, make less money. I was like, oh.
Yeah, spoken like a true accountant. Yeah. So that came up. Now, we talk about the Whole-Life Millionaire. And I want to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. Did your health improve since you've been an M1?
Yes.
Yes? How specifically for you?
Well, I did the total raw diet. So I did that. I guess you had the quick weekend raw diet thing. And I was like, that's not going to fix my problem. If I'm doing it all the way. So right. I did 90 days. Now, what I also realized with that, it's not a lifestyle I can continue for the rest of my life, but now I know what I need to do. If I just want to get back like on a healthy kick, like if I travel a lot and I'm swollen and stuff, I'll just go raw for a couple of days. Yeah. If I'm planning on losing weight, I'll just go for raw for a couple of days. And if I just don't feel all the way that good, like I truly enjoy how I feel on green juices. I don't like the flavor of it necessarily, but I love the feel of it. So my goal is to do as much raw for the rest of my life as I possibly can. The funny thing is I missed I missed fish. And I'm not necessarily a fish eater. I'm Eastern European. We don't have lakes and rivers and oceans and that. But for some reason, I missed fish. So yes, my health is much. I mean, I can't say much better because we eat organic and we don't vaccinate and all of those things. So I don't do drugs. I've never tried anything in my life. But it is healthier and. better.
Yeah, you took a little meander down the raw food end of nutrition. You had a visit, you're conscious of it, and now more than anything, you'll move a little bit more down there, which creates better energy because digesting food takes energy.
And I have been at the doctor's for 15 years. I ended up doing a blood test just before the raw diet, so I can see where we started, where we ended. And even where we started, everything was in the normal range. Like not one thing in my blood was out of range. So
right. Well, there's also the belief that your mindset contributes. You can eat crap, but if you believe that your body knows how to handle it, right, then it will eliminate what it doesn't need. The mind is very strong, and you have a very powerful mind. So I'm convinced that that's, you could probably eat McDonald's 3 times a day and still be a rock star. You know what I mean?
I don't think I could order anything off of the McDonald's.
So the other thing is when you get part of a mastermind group, the concept is that, you work with people that have a common goal. And when you're with people that have a common goal, it's easier to stay within the confines of the principles and the tactics that get you there. Did you meet people in the group that inspired you to take some new action? Did you learn some things? Did you make some new friends?
Yes. Yeah. So I came in very, with one goal in mind. For me was the financials. I said, I'm going to figure this out and I'm never going to be back there again. So M1 gives you a lot of different things, like, anything from health to financial to mindset to, knowledge and all that. For me was financial. So I really only reached out to the people that been walking the walk, because I'm a firm believer, learn from the one who's been there, done that. Never ask a broke friend how to make $1 million. So I reached out to quite a few people, and I also met a lot of them here in Michigan. Believe it or not, I'm from Pinckney, Michigan, which is the smallest little thing. You'll never find it on the map. And there's like 5 of us here from M1, like from this little circle. Like that is just crazy. So we had local meetings. I have visited, a couple of the local people, and then I really hit it off with Ariel from California. So I call her periodically when I have, anything like women and finances, kind of, because it's a little different than men and finances. So I call her all the time.
That's awesome. Should be a good one to talk to you about your taxes as well, just to get her perspective on that.
Really?
So, so as you go forward now, what are some of the things you have in Airbnb, correct?
So we did not purchase that one. We are buying our second. Well, I guess we do, but we don't. We turned into a second home, and it turned out to be so nice. And I don't think I want to Airbnb it.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's just going to be our second home that actually going to turn into our first home. So it's going to be our primary residence, talking about tax savings. So I'll save 4.5% moving to Florida. So that's going to be our primary. We are keeping our home here. So that's on the real estate end. And then actually I'm listing a home across the street from us that's on a lake here in Michigan. And my husband was just saying, why don't we buy it and turn it into an Airbnb? So we might do that. I have to talk. How do I say this? Now we are both self-employed with my husband, and this is his first year being employed, so he can't qualify for mortgage, so it's only in my name. So now that if I'm trying to mortgage that before I mortgage the Florida house, it might hinder. So we might have to wait until we close. But our Florida house is a new construction, so that's not closing anytime soon, not until probably December. So our hands are probably tied on the mortgage end until we close on the new construction.
Yeah, well, I mean, these are what we call quality problems, right?
Yep.
Have you been tempted to invest in anything else? Because a lot of it's been money, like cryptocurrency. Have you gotten that conversation or anything like that?
Oh yeah. So I started when I joined M1. I just had a SEP account, self-employment pension account from my previous life, I feel like, and since then now I have. I think 7 investment account.
Okay.
I have a Robinhood, and then I started in TD Ameritrade. Let me see how many accounts I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 an account. So each of my children have a Roth IRA account. I started for them, which I maxed out. And then I have my SEP, then I have a SEP IRA, then I have both of my kids' IRAs, then I have what's called fund money, because I maxed out my SEP IRA, so I couldn't put more money in there, but I had more money, so I started what I call fund money. So that's my extra money that it's not necessarily for tax write-off purposes, but I'm just investing it. And then I have 2 additional one for my children that are also fund money accounts because I maxed theirs out as well, but I put more for them so that I couldn't put that in the Roth IRA. So I started them a fund money account too. And then my husband has his Robinhood, then he has one fund money TD Ameritrade, and then he has a 401k. So I guess together we have 12 investments account now.